Dominic, how much do you watch cable in 2024?
Outside of like Raw and SmackDown and stuff, I don't.
Same. We might not have to pay that extra bill here soon. Raw is going to Netflix, and that could mean a lot of things. Could later down the line SmackDown go to Netflix, or NXT go to Netflix, or even the entire Peacock library going to Netflix.
Oh, that's going to happen. Well, as for SmackDown and NXT, I kind of don't think they're going to be going to Netflix anytime soon. But I like the idea of SmackDown and NXT kind of becoming a bit more linked because of that.
I almost feel like NXT should become the cable SmackDown, and then SmackDown becomes the cable Raw.
Yeah. Like, I would have Raw for your biggest stars. Like, that's where you see your Punks, your Rollins.
But one of the things I was seeing, though, I mean, I haven't fact-checked it, but I was reading Netflix is, like, big on they want Roman Reigns on Raw.
Oh.
If that is the case, I do feel like that shuffles things up a little bit.
As much as the Bloodline is cool, they definitely feel like linked to SmackDown now.
I don't know. I'm fine with either or. If anything, I feel like the Bloodline story going onto Raw, I kind of look at it as like a win in a way, because they have so much more resource to use. Like, getting The Rock involved, you don't have to worry about all his F-bombs.
You're daddy, the final boss!
I think the bridge there could potentially be Jey Uso.
The thing with that, though, is I would say that Jey feels like a SmackDown guy on Raw.
I feel like we only say that, though, because he's, like, literally all blue.
Well, yeah, he's blue. He goes to SmackDown. That's how it works. Kevin Owens is going to Raw. He started wearing red shirts.
Whoa. I swear to God, if Kevin Owens shows up on Monday. Regardless, throughout, like, the last month of October, what we have already been seeing is a 2-hour Raw.
Yes.
Please, keep it 2 hours. Please.
Only if there's no ads. I think Raw being 3 hours benefits from the fact that it is really actually like 2 hours of content. And I think if Raw can somehow maintain that amount of content, so it's like just a 2 hour straight shot of TV.
Mm-hmm.
And if we have Raw as a 2 hour weekly program, no ads, and I know the answer is no, I think we can justify having SmackDown as 3 hours.
In the grand scheme of things, I get it, like, business-wise, but it is a little worrisome to me, because where SmackDown has, like, the few interesting stories, I do feel like that is sort of all they have. It would definitely have to be after the draft. Because, like, the current SmackDown roster, like, you have that handful of good stuff, but besides that, it's sort of just static. I guess that's an entirely different question of who would be drafted to SmackDown in order to make it an actual, like, watchable 3-hour program.
Well, if the Bloodline are going to Raw, you take the Sheamus banger division, you take all those guys, and then you plop them on SmackDown. They will fill out that mid-card. They will be able to have the 20-minute matches, which is definitely kind of the vibe I think SmackDown's trying to lean towards, especially after the Carmelo and Andrade stuff. And, like, Raw is definitely more for story.
I agree with that. Specifically with the Carmelo Hayes and Andrade stuff, they're sort of entering this phase where they want to have more meaningful rivalries that don't have a championship attached to it. Just straight bread and butter. These two people are fighting because of this, and it's going to be good shit. I do agree with your point of, like, the 2 hours with no ads. But Netflix isn't necessarily the most kind in terms of people's, like, wallets. What I personally would be okay with. You have, like, Netflix subscription lists of, like, different tiers or whatever. You get, like, the live whatever with ads, but then have an extra tier that you pay, like, maybe, like, $2 or $3 more, no ads, and you actually see what's happening as it's happening.
I think I would just rather not have ads. I think that's what could make Raw stand out, is just not having ads. Like, do it on the barricades, do it on the tables, do it on the ring canvas. I don't want to have a 20-minute TV match, which I only see 5 minutes of action.
To win this matchup, and a kick.
There's a new pet.
To say that, I feel like it's obviously, yeah.
I think WWE, with all of its billions of dollars, can afford to do it.
They can afford it, but they're a business.
Well,
So they're going to do what puts more money in their pocket.
fuck the man.
Seth Rollins does.
Respectfully.
Yeah.
With very demure.
Very skibbity Ohio. Since technology has evolved and CGI has become a thing, especially like within wrestling entrances and all that stuff,
Ejaculating Roman Reigns.
I so badly wish we would get more live props.
I 1,000,000,000% agree with this, dude.
Like the freaking blow up awesome thing that Miz had, even going as far as like the entire like arena setup. Like they don't use live props.
Freaking Al Snow got over because he had a head as a prop.
Like such as the head, it made his character.
Yeah.
I feel like there's so many opportunities nowadays, especially with so many different gimmicks within the world of wrestling now, where they could be using those live props, even just like in entrances and stuff. And I feel like if you were to use more live props, then you could also tie in some TV-14 elements. Add a stripper pole to the entrance ramp.
Dirty Dominic Mysterio should be walking around with a dildo.
I could totally see an angle where it's like one of the members of the Judgment Day is like carrying like Raquel Gonzalez's like purse and then drops it and then a dildo.
It has Dominic written into it.
Yeah, and then that starts the Liv Morgan Raquel Rodriguez feud. And it's like, oh, you have a dildo with my man's name on it?